I'm happy to share with you what I call the journey of the five hearts. It really is the foundation that I use in all of my work, whether working with individuals, working with couples or groups. It's the centerpiece of my work. And so I'm very excited to share with you. And so I'm going to go through each of the five hearts just to give you a little bit of a flavor of what this journey is about. We start with the original heart. We all have an original heart. We come onto the planet with an original heart. And in that original heart, we have our own unique positive traits, a unique contribution that we're meant to give to the planet that no one can give in our place. We also have certain unique soul connections that have been given to us that we'll discover as we make this journey on Earth. And so that original heart is there. We arrive with it. It's a beautiful, precious part of ourselves. And for that original heart to be able to thrive and come forward, it needs the optimal conditions, the optimal environment. It needs an environment that can see all that we are in our original heart and call it forth. And although many of us get some of that recognition and some of that support, for the most part, we don't get enough of what we need for that original heart to step out fully. And so what happens on our journey as we arrive on the planet is that eventually we get some love, we get some recognition, and we also get some dysfunction, get some threat, and eventually our heart, this original heart, gets broken. It gets crushed. And it doesn't happen at the same time for everyone. It happens at different times. But eventually the pain of not being seen, of not getting what we need to thrive fully, it becomes so much that we go to our second heart, which I call the broken heart. It's our broken heart. We all have a broken heart inside of us. Not that we want that, but it happens. And that eventually, that broken heart becomes so painful for us that we have to disconnect from it. It's intolerable for us. And we have this amazing capacity to survive. And so that leads us into our third heart, which is our survival heart. It's that part where our mind takes over and disconnects us. And we shut down to this beautiful original heart just as a way of protecting ourselves. And as that happens, we also begin to start to look outside of ourselves for who we are or what we should be. And that's the beginning of what we call codependency. We're no longer connected and aware of who we are. We're more aware of how others want us to be. And we start to try to conform to that, start to try to be what they want us to be. And when we don't, we get very upset. So in our survival heart, we also develop a whole set of defense mechanisms, defense to protect us from the pain and distorted beliefs about ourselves. Because when that heart gets broken, we don't really understand why. So very often we'll take it personally. Some of those core beliefs might be something like, I'm not lovable, or nobody could care for me, or I'm just stupid, or I'm not pretty enough. All those sort of beliefs that begin to form because of that broken heart. We take it on, we personalize it. So that's a big part of the survival heart. And the other big feature of the survival heart is that our mind, our thinking, becomes the dominant way of functioning. We lose touch with the way we're feeling most of the time, and we're up in our head a lot. So there's a lot of judgment. There's a lot of critical attitude, either towards myself or towards other people. There's a lot of comparing myself to others, and either I'm less than or more than. And so our world and way we are individually, most of us live most of the time in this survival heart. This is where we are today, in this third heart. And the major challenge that's in front of us today is how do we transition out of that? Because what is becoming clearer and clearer is that we can no longer function and survive in the survival heart. It's not working for us anymore. And the good news is that there is another heart that we have waiting for us. And it requires us to become aware that we're in the survival heart, that we're functioning in our mind, or in our judgments, in our defense mechanisms, in our distorted core beliefs, and start to become aware that there's this other part inside of us that's always been there, hidden, that wants to speak to us. Listening to our inspirations, listening to our intuitions, listening to our creative ideas, and moving with them, rather than being in their head, oh, I shouldn't do that, rather than trusting what's coming up from within. That's the movement of crossing over into the heart-centered heart. When I do that, when I start to begin to experience that, I'm breaking out of the survival heart into what I call the heart-centered heart, which is a very beautiful, powerful place. And as I do that, as exciting as that is, it's also ironically going to open up our defense system to the point where we're going to actually hear and feel our broken heart more. So it can be kind of a challenging time crossing over into this heart-centered heart. But that's the journey that we're on today, and it's an exciting one. And as we begin to continue to experience and taste and touch this heart-centered heart, as we begin to start to step more fully into those soul connections that we have, into those precious positive traits that we have, and begin to really key in to what our original contribution is for this planet, and start to step into that and live that, we slowly can move into this fifth heart, which I call the sacred heart. It's that place where we dwell there, not just in the heart-centered heart, it's fleeting, it's exciting, but we can't stay there. In the sacred heart, it becomes our home. We are living in our unique contribution. We are living our soul connections. We are aware and touching and living our positive traits. And we're living with others in co-creativity, not codependency. So that's the journey of the five hearts that is so exciting, that's ahead of us today. If you'd like to know more about this process and how I work with individuals and with couples and help them transition from the survival heart into the heart-centered heart and into the sacred heart, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'll be making more videos describing this process and the steps in depth. Or if you have any questions, feel free to contact me on my website at www.markmariner.com. Thank you for watching.